It is time to finally return to our rather neglected nether display and continue our quest to make every single nether biome in LEGO. Today we're going to be tackling the dreaded basalt deltas, complete with plenty of lava and even more magma cubes. Let's get to building. For as crazy of a biome as the basalt deltas are in-game, there's actually very few blocks to worry about, those being basalt, of course, and blackstone. We've done lava and magma before in previous nether builds. For basalt, I'll be drawing inspiration from an official LEGO Minecraft kit, that being the Nether Bastion, which is a fantastic set by the way. It makes use of this modified 2x2 brick in dark bluish gray to give the block some additional texture. Like the original Nether Waste module, this build is going to be a 2x1 module that's 16x8 blocks, and it's going to go up alongside the Warped Forest. If you remember from the Warped Forest, there is a lava lake on the left-hand side of that module, so we want to continue that over on this one. And like those other nether builds, I'll be making use of these fairy lights once again, painstakingly woven through a series of 1x1 trans yellow plates. The white plates below ensure that the maximum amount of light is reflected, and the transparent yellow gives the lava a warm glow. It actually makes for a pretty interesting effect when viewed from above, the wires running down in a grid-like pattern. The next step is going to be to tile this off. One thing I want to make sure to do is use transparent pieces specifically above the LED bulbs, of course, so the most light possible gets out, and then I'll use more of the opaque colors to cover some of the rest and add variety. You'll notice too that I've got extra wires sticking out both ends here. The goal is to make a few more lava pits scattered around this module. The basalt deltas are filled with dangerous lava traps, and where there's lava in the nether, we want it to light up. While it would be easier to use lights designed specifically to work with LEGO, I enjoy these because they're so easy to access. You could literally go to Hobby Lobby today and pick up a bunch of these lights and put them into your own builds. They're plenty affordable, though I should say they're a bit unreliable from time to time. I find I have to get that on switch in just the perfect position before these things will stay on. But anyway, let's start building up the terrain. I'm going to stagger the positions of the modified 2x2 bricks to create even more texture and variation within our walls here. And then I'm going to put random patches of the blackstone throughout the build. Here on the left, I'm going to start laying the foundations for our secondary lava pit. This is going to be constructed in the same way as the lava pit from earlier. There's only one change I might need to make. It looks like I'm running pretty low on regular orange 1x2 tiles, so this one might just need more transparent pieces on it. Either way, I'll probably need to put it in order before this thing is done. One of the tools I make use of while bending the wire like this is actually just a LEGO spear element. It helps bend the wire in between the pips and other small cracks. The tool really helps a lot, making sure the wire goes exactly where it needs to. Alright, this is starting to come together, and I really like the look of those modified 2x2 bricks. There is something special I want to add to this build though, and that's a play feature involving the magma cube. I developed this simple piston. I say simple, but it took me a long time. I'm not a Technic guy, but basically it allows the official existing LEGO magma cube from that Nether Bastion set to jump by spinning a gear. I wanted to build this ahead of time just to see how high up I would need to place him. As you can see, the piston part does take up a lot of vertical space, so we do need to make a higher platform for the magma cube to rest on. This gives me an opportunity too to do another tier of lavaing, and I have some extra bulbs to work with, so we can make sure that this lights up too. It's in here that I'll add our first chunk of magma blocks, making use of the same dots tiles I did in the Warped Forest. Those extra few blocks give our magma cube plenty of room to work with, and we can get him integrated into the build smoothly. On its own, it looks like he's bouncing by magic. It's awesome. LEGO did such a great job with the design of this mob. It is probably one of my favorites in the LEGO Minecraft line. With that function now running smoothly, it's time to tackle the remaining terrain. Now, the other two nether modules that I've built are notoriously tall, and I want this one to at least rival that a bit. It kind of comes down to how many of these modified 2x2 bricks I have. At the moment, I have something like 125, but I'm thinking they're going to run out pretty fast, as they always seem to do. For some reason, the staggering of these bricks has made it really confusing to tell if I'm on grid or not, so I'm making good use of my TNT measuring tools, which help me ensure that everything is still block accurate. Unfortunately, as predicted, I ran out of basalt blocks pretty early on. I'll smooth off what I can, but we have to wait a few days for a Bricklink order to come in. I ended up purchasing an additional 61 of these bricks. We'll see how far it gets us, but we're gonna make it work one way or the other. I can always extend these columns even further as I get more pieces in the future. Could be a fun update episode somewhere down the line. At the top here, we're going to add that one last lava pit using the leftover bulbs from our string of fairy lights. I mean, I'm pretty happy that I was able to connect all these lava pits by making use of just a single battery box and a single wire. And for whatever reason, I don't plan out my nether builds like I do the other overworld modules. It just leads to more chaos, and I feel that suits the nether rather well. In that order of basalt blocks, I also got some 1x2 orange and trans orange tiles to make sure I had enough to cover the surface of the lava here. Now all there's left to do is to see how far these 61 2x2s will get me. That's going to determine the final height of this model. I threw in some more blackstone at the base to extend my reach as far as I possibly could. Even if this module doesn't end up being as tall as the other two, I think it really does capture the spirit of the basalt deltas. I'd still dread having to walk through this thing in my nether travels. There's plenty of lava to fall into, annoyingly high walls to climb over, and a giant magma cube ready to attack you should you get too close. But we are missing some small magma cubes. Thankfully, I've got a few of those. I probably won't find a spot for each and every one of these on the module, but I'm sure gonna do my best. Our basalt delta is looking thoroughly dangerous at this point. I don't think anyone traveling through here is going to get by unscathed. That being said, who would be crazy enough to go here? Perhaps this Strider Rider. I'm making use of one of the minifigures from the original LEGO Minecraft skin packs. I love how drastically different the basalt deltas look when combined with the other nether modules. The sharper appearance and darker colors make it seem all the more dangerous. Now I gotta turn off the lights for a second so you can appreciate the full effect of that lava glow. It's pretty sweet even as the color pops up through the opaque pieces too. Overall, I would consider this module another successful addition to the nether display. We now have completed 3 out of the 5 biomes. That just leaves the Soul Sand Valley and the Crimson Forest. And I'd like to do a miniaturized bastion at some point too. But for next episode, I've got something extra special in mind. We're going to be doing our first underwater module. And there's actually a tie-in here in that I plan for this underwater module to be an underwater ruined portal. You won't want to miss it when that comes out. That's all I've got for this episode. As always, have yourself a fantastic life, and I'll catch you later.